Alright, good afternoon folks, or at least it's afternoon for me, and what's the topic going to be today? I want to talk about wood routers. I am not an expert in using wood routers or anything like that, but I do have quite a bit of experience using them to make signs, putting edging on things, and doing stuff like that. And a lot of this video is really to help, my son Justin, who lives up the hill, lives a ways from me. He picked up a router. He's getting ready to redo the inside of his garage and redesign it, and and he wanted a router for routering edges and doing different things. And so I talked to him a little bit about it, and so he's still like a little rusty on exactly, how to go about using the router. So I thought I'd do a video, and I hope it helps everybody else out. Now I have two kinds of routers, so let me explain that to you. Hang on. The first one I have is right here. This is a DeWalt trim router, okay? It will work fine for almost anything you probably want to do. So if you run across one of these on sale, you should probably grab it. I got this out at Home Depot. I don't even remember what I paid for it. It's been a little workhorse for me. And like I said, it'll probably do everything that I really wanted it to do. However, at a garage sale, I came across this 2¼ horsepower DeWalt router. This thing's an animal when it comes to wood, and if I'm doing wood carving or I'm making large wooden signs, this thing will tear that wood out with those router bits like there's no tomorrow. It also comes with a lot of goodies in there, for depth gauging and stuff like that, but I use it freehand like this, and I use it for edging boards. I use it for carving out things, but I also use that trim router. Now let's go over with both these routers, because they're made by DeWalt. They basically work the same way, one's just much larger. So let's use the trim router and pan down, and I'll show you a couple of things that I do, or the way that I use it. Now this trim router here by DeWalt is variable speed. That's what this little dial's for. I leave it up to max. That's what I do. And here's the on and off switch. Simple enough. Now down here, this is like your depth setting. So if I release this, and now I can turn this base right here, and I can raise that bit up and down the platform. It'll raise up and down, and it gives me depth here on this cutting bit for me to align it up to the piece of wood on how I want to cut it. Now this one has what they call a detail bit in there. It comes to a really fine point. Okay, so somebody said, well, how do you know how to set this depth? You're going to get a feel for it, but on these delicate bits like this detail bit, I don't want to set it deep. I'll damage the bit or burn it up quickly. On some of the other bits that you use for half rounds, quarter rounds, and all this stuff, you can do it differently. But the way that I do this, kind of like, let's take sign carving as an example. To set this, I just take a spanner wrench that comes with it. I set it up to here, and then I go ahead and I adjust the tip of this so it's just above that spanner wrench. Then I go ahead and I lock it in place, and then that's it, and that's all I do. That is a depth that I know won't damage this kind of bit. This is a fine bit. Now, I get something a little bit more. Now I get a bit on there that's a little bit fatter, like let's say I'm going to have a 60-degree or 90-degree angle bit. It's a much more stout bit. I still will set it the same way. And then I router it. Now if it's not deep enough after I router it that first time, I'll come back, I'll open this up, and I'll bring the platform down a little more, lock it, and I'll keep going until I get the edge that I want. But you can line it up on the edge of the wood, and you can figure it out that way. but I don't try to take everything off in one pass. Okay, but when I'm routering, just a habit that I'm in, like I was thinking, I don't try to take, let's say I'm edging a piece of wood, I don't try to take it off in one pass. I kind of go over it lightly, I come back lightly, I might even do it again 2-3 passes before I get it to that final shape. I don't try to, sit there and expect this thing, to hog off a ton of wood, especially with a trim router, okay? If I'm using that more powerful router, a little bit different story. As long as your bits are sharp, it'll take it off like there's no tomorrow. Now, you have wrenches that come with it that will open up this collet, that'll loosen it up, and you have the ability then to take out the bit and put in another bit, okay? That's fine. Now, one of the mistakes one of the people made that's in the club that I'm in is they drop that new bit in there and they push it all the way to the bottom and then go ahead and cinch this up. That's wrong. Don't do that. You can actually, I don't want to say you damage the bearings, it's just a bad habit. I drop it in and then I raise it back up just by feel, like maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, but I don't have it bottomed out inside of the router. So get in the habit of not doing that. Your router will last much longer, okay? Tighten it up real good, secure your clamp, good eye protection, and you're ready to go. And there's lots of different variations on using this router. Let me show you a sign and then I'll give you a better idea of how to use this. And you can use this trim router to make any of these signs I'm showing you. Okay, here's a sign that I made. This side says close, this side says open. So what's really cool about these, you can sell these to small businesses and then you can whip these out fast. All this is right here is wood from out at Home Depot or Lowe's. I didn't cut it to any particular size. It came in this width. I just chopped off the length that I wanted and I went ahead and I routed this out. And you can sell these, okay? Okay, but getting back to the router bits. Right here, after I did my letters, this is like inset, because all of my carving is within the letter, so i.e. inset. And I probably used a 60-degree bit in here. Okay, now if they're outset where the letters themselves are sticking out and all the backgrounds have been hogged out, it's kind of outset, right? So I would use a 90-degree bit. Do you have to? No. I use 3 bits pretty regularly when I'm doing signs. A 60-degree, a 90-degree, and a detail bit. That's all I use. Because I've gotten better over time in routering these signs, so I can do them fairly quickly. Not doing so much of these right now because of work and other things, but very possible, very easy and quick to do. Let me show you another one that you can do, okay, and it's not impossible. Okay, here's one, and I made about 7 of these. I had an order for a bunch of these because somebody was actually putting them up inside of their restaurant or whatever, and then somebody in the restaurant saw one, wanted one for home, and on and on and on, and then I keep pictures on my phone like I tell you. I show them to people at work, they buy them also. So this is a pattern that I keep around because I make these frequently enough to have a pattern. Anyway, back to the routering. These are outset letters. You see the difference? These now are sticking out because all the background's been carved out on this. And so I pretty much used a 90-degree bit to do all this field work. But before I did that, I used that detail bit and I outlined all my letters. I outlined this lady sitting in the tub. And then I came with that 90-degree because I can come right up to that line that fine bit made and take it out without damaging any of the character or the letters. So these things are possible. Now let's look at the edge here. Okay, so this is different. Now if you set the bit correctly, and if I always set it a little shallow if I'm not sure, because then that way, oh, it didn't really cut it the way I wanted to. So I loosen this up and I make it a little bit deeper and I lock it back and I make another pass. And like I said, in 1-2 times, then you got it to where you want it. And then I turned around and I created this edge all the way around it. Okay, and so I went all the way around there and it took off that sharp edge, made it round. Okay, you could do that too. Now, setting that, like I said, is a little bit different than setting the detail bit. The detail bit and the 60 and the 90, I use the spanner wrench, I set it up there, I drop it so the tip is just above the spanner wrench, lock it in, and I'm good to go. It's fast, it's easy, there's no messing around. If I decide I want to go deeper after I've used that the first time, because I don't want to expect too much out of this bit and burn it up or damage it, I'd like them to last me as long as I can. So that's a perfect way of setting it for the first go around, and then you see how deep it is. And you say, well, I want to go a little bit deeper. Well, you've already done the first, turn around, reset it, and come back, and you can do that second one and go deeper. But you're not taking it all out in one cut anymore. Take it a couple of cuts, it's easier on the machine, and it's better for your bits. Okay, let's do questions and answers. First question is, what kind of a stain did I use on this particular project? Okay, I don't want to say a lot, but I do have 4 or 5 cans of Minwax stain. It's all pre-made. I think this one was like Countryside or something like that, and it gives it that little bit of extra brown. This is pine wood, okay? I sprayed the edges with black. I use Marsh ink in a spray can. I'll leave you the link below where you can buy Marsh ink. I don't see it at the big box stores or anywhere. I get it off Amazon, and it's inexpensive and it's wonderful for doing black, okay? Because it actually comes out real nice. Now, if you do the edges, then spray them with black, then I sand the surface, it's going to leave that edging black. That's how I did this sign. Same thing here, I spray all of this with black, and then when I sand this, it'll come out just the way I wanted it with a nice clean surface, and it's ready to apply the Minwax stain. That's how I did this sign, to answer your question. How did I make the little gouges? I used a 4.5 inch angle grinder with a sanding disc wheel on it. I think it was 60 or 80 grit. I just went around hitting it at all different angles all over the place. Again, when I sprayed this with black and I sanded it, it comes out with them detailing or highlighting in black. That's how I did those. You can use other stains, you can use other finishes. Now what I used on the top of this, again, I get all this stuff off Amazon because it shows up at my doorstep. I like it that way, is Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover Clear Gloss. I find it works real easy for me, and I can just spray these right out of the can, and they're great. And like I said, if you stop and think about how many small businesses you probably have in and around where you live, the first few of these you do, you're going to be slow at it, but when you start cranking these out, and you lay about 6 or 8 of these out, and then you finish all of these, and you get them all ready, and you go to sell them, you can actually make some decent little side money on, and then fuels your hobby, try it. I don't know, but you got to be the salesman, though. You got to actually go sell them. But I have, like I said, I show them on my phone, get the orders, I come home, I make them. That's how I do a lot of my advertising. I just keep tons of photos. I let people at work go through them. So I hope that's answering all of your questions. I'm trying to take a look forward here and see if there's anything on the forum that anybody else wants me to respond to. Is there anything wrong with the Ryobi bit sets out at Home Depot? No, I have a set of those. They work fine for all of my edging. Okay, that's the edging. White side, I'll leave you the links below, is where I get the 60 degree, the 90 degree, and the detail bit. No, I don't. I'm not that good at resharpening them. I mean, you might be able to find a service, or believe me, Whiteside makes outstanding bits. And if you use them correctly and you don't abuse them, they'll last you for a long enough period of time to where it's not a big deal just to buy another one. But no, I would tell you, use a diamond file and try to touch it up. There might be a YouTube video out there on how to resharpen, these router bits. I haven't looked. I haven't run into that yet because my Whiteside bits are still sharp, and I've used the hell out of them. All right, folks, trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you here on the video. Those are the basics on using the router. Anything else you want to see, or you want to do a project together or something, let me know in the comments below. If I get enough people wanting it, I suppose I could go ahead and do a video and show you exactly how to make one of these from the beginning forward. I have some older videos in my playlist that will show you step by step how to make this routered sign, how to do these edges. It shows me out on my workbench. It shows me setting it up, showing you how to adjust the depth, showing you how to line it up, how I clamp it down to the workbench, and the exact process I go through. So go back through my playlist. That would be my suggestion. Anything else though, put it in the comment below. I'll take a look at it. I'm the Home Handyman. I hope you click subscribe, hit the notification bell, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to take a look at Justin Dow's channel. He does tons of tool reviews and does a live stream once a week. It's very informative. I mean, if you want to know something about some of these tools and ratchets and stuff like that, or manufacturers. I'll see you folks again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.